So now that we know how to do the downward dog pose, and armed with the knowledge that this is the midpoint of the entire Sun Salutations, I'm going to show you how to complete the rest of the classical Sun Salutation sequence. So we stopped at this point where we were holding a baby cobra, transitioning into tabletop. So from this pose, we're going to go and shift into the downward dog by extending the knees, sending our sit bones into the sky, holding this for one breath. Remember, Sun Salutations, it's not about holding the poses for a long period of time. It's really moving through the entire sequence as we're breathing in and breathing out. So the entire sequence is actually quite fast. Well, you can make it very slow if you really want to, but the whole point is that you're warming up your body, so you do it with a certain amount of pace. So once we are in the downward dog, we're basically going to retrace the steps that led us to this pose. So we're going to take our left leg and we're going to step it in between the hands and drop the back knee to the floor. So essentially we are now back into the low lunge, except that we have our left foot forward, raising the hands, slightly shifting our weight forward just to give us a bit of a stretch in our right hip flexor, maybe placing the hands on the hips if your hands are tired, if you're feeling your shoulders. And then after that, the hands go back to the floor, lifting the back knee. Now we're going to take that foot and we're going to place it next to the front foot. So really stepping forward. So we're going to step forward and then lift up into flat back, the pose that we did in the beginning of the Sun Salutation. Pressing the palms into the shins, actively lengthening from the crown of the head all the way down to the tailbone. Exhaling, folding forward. This is another pose that we've done in the beginning of the Sun Salutation sequence. And then finally, start with bending the knees, inhaling, sweeping the arms overhead and bringing them down to the chest, and then back into our mountain pose. And that's essentially the entire Sun Salutation sequence. So let's recap. I'm going to do it slowly, and then I'm going to do this sequence once again at pace, and then we can do it again together. So this is how you would start. Mountain pose. Inhale, lengthen. We're folding forward. Hands go back into the shins. Inhaling into flat back. Folding forward again. Stepping back with the left leg. Low lunge. Inhale here. Exhale, hands go back to the floor. Remember the plank pose. Gonna step into the plank, lowering all the way down to the floor, untucking the toes. Baby cobra, transitioning into tabletop, and then from tabletop, springing up into downward dog. The left leg steps in between the hands, dropping the back knee. Hands go into the air, untucking the back toe. Inhale. Exhale, hands go back to the floor, lifting the knee up, bringing that foot forward. Inhale into flat back. Exhale, folding forward, and inhale, reaching all the way up, connecting the palms together, and back to a mountain pose. And that's the entire Sun Salutation. This is called the classical version. There's definitely a few more, and then we can get into improvisations. But for the purpose of this course, this is the warm-up that you will be doing at the beginning of every single practice. So let's do this again together. So find your mountain pose. And we're going to do it at pace. So in order for us to warm up our body. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale into flat back. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, stepping back into low lunge. Exhale, hands go back to the floor. We're transitioning into plank, lowering through all the way down to the mat. Inhale into baby cobra. Exhale, tabletop, and then transitioning into downward dog. One breath here, stepping the foot back into low lunge. Inhale, exhale. The back foot meets the front. Inhale into flat back. Exhale, folding forward. And inhale, reach all the way up to the sky and back into mountain pose. This is a full toes all the way to the head warm-up workout. Everything is engaged. You got your calves, you got your thighs, you got your hamstrings, you got your lower back, you've got your chest, you've got your shoulders, neck, all of the muscles, all of the key muscles of the body that will help us move through the practice, and not just through the practice, but also throughout the day, are engaged here. On top of that, you have blood pumping into the brain when we are into the reverse pose. So there's a lot of going on here, and your entire body is really getting lit up for the yoga practice. So that's the end of the Sun Salutations. I hope you enjoyed this presentation, so to speak, and don't worry if you didn't get some of those poses. We'll have a lot of time to practice them once we start wrapping them up into a sequence.